Novel Shadows of the Heart. Chapter 1. A Chance Encounter. Elena Monroe lived a structured life. At 28, she worked as a museum curator in a quaint town known for its historical charm. Every day was meticulously planned, every moment accounted for. To outsiders, she had it all: a successful career, a cozy apartment, and a close-knit group of friends. But inside, Elena carried a secret guilt, a shadow that whispered to her during sleepless nights. 5 years earlier, an argument with her younger sister Sophie had ended in a terrible car accident. Sophie survived but moved far away, and their relationship had been fractured ever since. Elena had buried herself in work to silence the guilt, but the pain lingered like an open wound. One rainy afternoon, Elena ducked into a small cafe to escape the downpour. It was there she met Adrian Clark, a reserved writer with a book in one hand and an espresso in the other. His dark, thoughtful eyes met hers, and their connection was instant yet inexplicable. Adrian was not the type to open up to strangers, but something about Elena's guarded demeanor intrigued him. He struck up a conversation about art and literature, and by the time the rain stopped, they had exchanged numbers. Chapter 2. A New Beginning. Elena and Adrian's relationship blossomed quickly. Adrian, who was recovering from the heartbreak of losing his fiancée 2 years ago, found comfort in Elena's quiet strength. Elena, on the other hand, felt a spark of hope for the first time in years, yet both were haunted by their pasts. Adrian often retreated into silence, his guilt over moving on weighing heavily on him. Elena sensed his inner turmoil, but hesitated to share her own pain, afraid of being judged. Despite their unspoken burdens, they found solace in each other. They spent weekends exploring art galleries, reading poetry by candlelight, and taking long walks by the river. But the closer they grew, the harder it became to ignore the shadows that lingered between them. Chapter 3. The Guilt. Within one evening, Adrian discovered a box of old photos in Elena's apartment. Among them was a picture of her and Sophie, laughing and carefree. "Who's this?" Adrian asked, sensing the sudden change in Elena's expression. "That's my sister," she replied, her voice tight. We're not close anymore." Adrian didn't press further, but Elena felt the weight of her guilt pressing down on her chest. Later that night, she lay awake, wondering if Adrian would still care for her if he knew the truth. Adrian, too, was wrestling with his own demons. He often visited his fiancée's grave, seeking forgiveness for falling in love again. He hadn't told Elena about her, fearing it would push her away. Chapter 4. The Breaking Point. Their secrets eventually began to strain their relationship. Elena grew distant, avoiding Adrian's questions and pulling away when he tried to comfort her. Adrian, frustrated and confused, began to doubt their future. One evening, during an argument, Elena's guilt spilled over. "You think I'm perfect, but I'm not," she shouted. "I ruined my sister's life. I was the reason for the accident that nearly killed her. I don't deserve happiness, Adrian." Adrian stood in stunned silence, her confession sinking in. "You think you're the only one with guilt?" he finally said. "I've been holding on to someone who's gone, afraid to let her go, afraid to love you fully. We're both broken, Elena, but maybe we can heal together." Chapter 5. Healing Together. For the first time, Elena and Adrian shared their deepest fears and regrets. It was a painful but cathartic conversation, one that marked the beginning of their healing journey. Elena decided to reach out to Sophie, apologizing for the years of silence and asking for a chance to mend their bond. Sophie, though hesitant, agreed to meet. Their reunion was emotional, and while it didn't erase the past, it opened the door to forgiveness. Adrian, too, found closure by visiting his fiancée's family and sharing his memories of her. They encouraged him to embrace the love he had found with Elena, reminding him that moving on didn't mean forgetting. Chapter 6. A Love Reborn. With their burdens lighter, Elena and Adrian's relationship grew stronger. They learned to face their guilt without letting it define them, finding joy in the present rather than dwelling on the past. Elena's work at the museum began to flourish as she poured her heart into curating an exhibit on resilience and human connection. Adrian finished his novel, dedicating it to the people who taught him how to love again. On a crisp autumn morning, Adrian proposed to Elena in the same cafe where they had first met. Tears filled her eyes as she said yes, knowing they had earned their happiness through courage, honesty, and love.